Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I got Resident Evil 6, pre-ordered it, and I got the DLC or whatever that went with it, the Mercenary Pack, or whatever the fuck. I don't care. I don't play Mercenaries anyway. Um, so far, overall, I am enjoying the game, okay? Despite the pretty much polarized reviews that I talked about in my earlier vlog, I am enjoying this game very thoroughly. I'm playing as Leon. And I had made a couple of gameplay, like if you've seen how my Resident Evil 5 Let's Play is, that's basically how I do it. I was like, oh, you know what, I'll play like the first chapter of each campaign, but the chapters are freaking long. This game is going to take me a bit to beat, there's no doubt about that. So this one will keep me occupied for a while, and I'll probably want to play it over again. So yeah, I am liking it. The gameplay is fun. However, there are quite a number of things that are bothering me. I'm going to start with the negatives, and then we'll get on to the positives. So there's about 3 negatives for me. The first is the camera angles. Holy shit, is it hard to like legitimately see what's going on, and when you aim your weapon, your guy just points in the wrong direction. Now maybe that's just me being sloppy, because I haven't played Resident Evil 5 or 4 in a while. Like nearly a year for 5 and almost a year also for 4. But I had recorded a Let's Play of it, about 6-7 months ago, but I deleted it because I was like, this quality just sucks, and I was hoping to emulate it on my PC. Unfortunately, my PC can't handle it, so I'm waiting and saving up to get a brand spanking new PC where I can emulate it and play Code Veronica, Resident Evil 4, The Devil May Cry, stuff like that. The camera angles in the wide areas, okay, it works fine because there's nothing, that's going to obstruct it. But when you're in those closed and narrow hallways, like enough for like maybe 2 people to go through, it starts working against you, especially when you're pinned up against the wall and in a corner, because it zooms down on top of you and you can't see shit. You cannot see what is going on. And sometimes there are just so many fucking enemies, you don't know which one to dodge first. And I'm thinking I was going to start talking about the second thing bothering me, but I want to stay on the topic of the camera angles. Now, again, it might just be me being sloppy with the camera, me not being used to the camera, but in the wider areas, it works. In the more narrow and claustrophobic areas, it doesn't. It works against you. Hold on, I need a drink. I'm thirsty. And more often than not, it causes me to get killed. Yet another thing I'm going to get into. So, again, I was playing Leon's campaign. I think the game itself, based on all the previews and everything, it encourages you to play Leon's story first. Although I think chronologically, it's Jake's, then Leon's, then Chris's. I don't know. I guess they set it up to where you want to play Leon's first, but you can really just play them in any order, and you'll still get the same storyline. But so far, I like Leon's sidekick. There is a bit of a mystery to her, and you're thinking, well, okay, we'll work with her. But, there's something odd about her, and then you get to this facility and you start to understand why she's acting the way she is, and then you see, just things going on, and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck? And, Leon's storyline is keeping the horror aspect of that the old Resident Evil's had, and funny enough, Capcom, you really need to pay attention to that, because Chris's scenario is pretty much being the reason that this game is getting pushed down the drain by some people, because they feel like it's a repetitive, tedious just shootout with the Javo. They're basically like the new Ganados or Majini or whatever the fuck, because they're the ones using the guns, and you're basically doing a shootout. You're going head to head. It's you and your BSAA teammates going head to head with these Javo guys, and they're whenever you shoot like a limb of theirs off, some big ass ugly tentacle shit grows out. Now I haven't played Chris's scenario, and I have not played Jake's scenario. I'm just going off of what other people have said and what I've seen. Jake's scenario looks like it's got a Nemesis vibe to it, but it doesn't really look like a horror type deal, because Jake Muller is, I'm going to call him Jake Mullet because of his last name. I think his last name's kind of funny. So Jake Mullet, he's basically Dante of the Resident Evil series. It's like Resident Evil wanted Dante, so now we have Dante, a.k.a. Jake Mullet, a.k.a. the son of Wesker, who has, Wesker's powers, because, it makes sense for him to have Wesker's powers and for him to be superhuman, and I'm not hating on the game for that, but I'm just saying that, again, we're deviating further and further from the survival horror aspect. Even the survival aspect has been all but eliminated. At least 4 had the horror aspect. This one does have a survival aspect to it when you're playing as Leon. But the problem is, it's not. It relies more on jump scares than it does the actual horror atmosphere. Now, once you get a little bit further into the chapter, actually, even the beginning of the chapter, it is kind of horror-y. You do kind of feel like a little like, oh, that's kind of creepy. But after that, I mean, the enemies are just more frustrating than they are scary. That's the thing. And getting on to my second point now is that. Is it me, or is this game just fucking hard? Okay, I'm playing on normal, and I've died at least a dozen times. And this is on the first chapter as Leon. The first chapter. The one it's kind of supposed to get you used to the gameplay. And the introduction thing where you play as Leon and you're helping Helena through this, wreckage. I'm guessing this is what happens, at the very end of his scenario. It's just an introduction thing to kind of show you, hey, this is how things work. This game is stupidly hard. I mean, the zombies using weapons, I'll roll with it. It's probably a more sophisticated virus because as the Resident Evils progress, the viruses got stronger and stronger. It makes sense. But these guys fucking can leap. I mean, they're going at you like fucking luchador wrestlers, and they just fucking fly out in the air and land on top of you. Now, here's another thing that just made me go, scratch my head what? And that's when you have a handgun and you shoot them enough times, they'll fall over. You interrupted their jump. But when you freaking pull a shotgun out, shoot that fucker straight in the face, he still manages to fucking land on you, even though half of his arm's freaking gone and his legs are gone. I'm like, the fuck? I just shot him with a handgun. That did the trick. I shoot him with a shotgun. Oh, no good. And that's another thing, is that the dogs in this game are stupid annoying, too. Because even when you shoot when you shoot them with a shotgun, and who's going to want to waste shotgun shells on a fucking dog? These guys do not have a stun. You shoot them in the head, they don't stun. They still come barreling after you. And, when there's two of them, just two, all it takes is two of them for you to be like, oh, well, where the fuck am I going? Where the fuck are they? And the way the camera angle is set up is you cannot see shit behind you. Anything behind you, you cannot fucking see it. You cannot hear it. What, Dead Space? Dead Space, it works the same way. The camera angle is virtually the same. The only thing about Dead Space is the environment was kind of subtle. It was kind of quiet. It was kind of eerie. There was sound, but it wasn't blaring so loud that you couldn't hear the things going on around you. In this one, you got explosions. There's just shit just happening everywhere. It's fucking pandemonium, chaotic. I love it. But it's working against the gameplay. When it starts working against the gameplay, that's when it's just too much. Because you cannot hear shit behind you because you're focusing on the guys in front of you. You're focusing on what's going on in your view range. Next thing you know, you got a zombie jumping behind you. And you're like, oh, where the fuck did you come from? Another bit that I was playing is you run into this group of survivors. They need help. Okay, you help them. I'm in the middle of, I'm kicking ass, taking names. Next thing you know, a fucking car just comes out of nowhere, runs my ass over. I'm like, wait, what? Did I just fucking die from a fucking car coming out of batshit nowhere? A little prompt next time, oh, hey, car coming, get out the way. And I was like, well, I just feel fucking cheated right about now. Now, granted, when you restart from the last checkpoint, you do get a full bill of health. You're restored back to full life, but your items are reset back also to where, anything you gained in between your last checkpoint and the point you died, all that you gained is gone. So whatever you have, once you hit that checkpoint, is what you revive with, which, okay, makes sense. I'll roll with it. That's usually how any save system works. Whatever progress you don't save, you don't get. Fine. But still, there's just so much going on that it's hard to focus on what the fuck to do. There's enemies coming out of everywhere. You just feel overwhelmed. And I'm all for chaotic in games. Dead Rising did it well. Dead Space does it well. The old Resident Evils did it well. In fact, Resident Evil 3, I would say, was probably the most chaotic of the old ones. That one did it fine. Yeah, there were zombies everywhere, but at least you could see, what's going on. This one, it's just a clusterfuck. There's just shit everywhere, and you're like, whoa, what's A, what's B, where does this zombie end? Where does that zombie begin? It's pandemonium. It's just too chaotic to really follow what's going on. And the third thing I was going to talk about as far as the annoyances I have with this game is the button sequences when you're in a cutscene type deal. If you remember in Resident Evil 5, there was when you're in the temple and the traps are getting triggered. You have to, mash the X button, mash the A button. Oh crap, there's a jump. Mash the Y button. Okay. Or in the case of a PS3 controller, square, triangle, X, whatever. This one has it when you're trying to start a fucking car. Okay, your two characters run into this car. They get in. Cool. I'm like, okay, cutscene. Okay, I can take a little break. Oh no, you got to mash buttons now. It's not scramble, press every button you possibly can. Holy crap, what do you do? It's the stupid fucking thing where you're literally analog to the right. No, nothing there. Analog to the center. Analog forward. Analog back. Analog to the left. I feel like I'm doing a fucking dance routine playing this shit. And all it is them looking for a key. And oh, lo and behold, where does the key happen to be? Right above the driver's fucking head. Go figure. Let's check the glove box. Oh no, it's not there. Where is it? Oh yeah, there's that little thing that you use to, the little flap on the hood of your car that you use to keep the sun out of your eyes. Oh, up there? Oh, there it is. It could have been a cutscene where they're just scrambling. It would have been more chaotic instead of me going, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. This game literally just takes your attention away from what's going on, and you're still just like, okay, button. I need to press this. I need to move that. I need to move this analog here. It's a chore. It really is. And I'm like, you're stealing, the entertainment for this tedious piece of shit that doesn't even need to be. It's like a skill. It's not sophisticated. It's tedious. It's annoying. It takes away from the enjoyment of the game because there needs to be periods where you can kind of, just say, okay, that was intense. Need like a 5 minute, not even a 5 minute break, just like a minute break where I can kind of rest my hands, just kind of chill back, watch the cutscene happen. Nope, you don't get that. In this one, you interact with the cutscenes. I'm like, okay, so is this a video game or an interactive movie? It feels more like an interactive movie, and that can make for good entertainment. You can make an interactive movie out of a video game, and it can work. In this case, it's not working. So that annoys me. The fact that, I'm playing on the normal difficulty. It's supposed to be like, it's not too easy because I want a challenge. It's not too hard. I don't want to, overkill it. I don't want to ruin the experience just off the get-go. In this one, I'm playing it on normal, and I'm getting, one-shotted by fucking luchador zombies. I'm not even kidding. These fuckers fly from, they'll be half a mile from you, and they'll fucking fly in the air and jump at you. And unless you can barrel roll out of the way, or dive forward, dive backward, whatever. And I was still getting used to the controls, and then I figured out how to dodge. The problem is you could have three of them jumping at you from three different directions. You roll one way, the third one's going to get you. You roll the other way, the second one's going to get you. And, once you roll and you stand back up, oh, what do you know? There's an enemy behind you now. He's coming after you. He got you. Oh, crap. You dodged, but you got rolled into another guy's thing. And then other things that happen is you'll get attacked. You'll get helped back up. Oh, enemy attacks you. You just happen to get up, when the enemy was attacking you. And another thing is that it doesn't give you very good hints. It's not a very informative game, like when you're taking on certain enemies that have weak points. This isn't spoiling it, but there is one that you fight that spews like this big cloud. I had no fucking clue what I was doing until, what was it? I accidentally shot it where I was supposed to shoot it. You basically shoot it a number of times. It goes into its little, exposed form, and it's like, its weak points like sticking out saying, shoot me, and then I don't realize it because I'm still trying to reload. I'm trying to heal myself because this fucker's, bringing zombies to life every which way. And by the time I had finally killed him, I was out of bullets. Pretty much out of bullets. Now, I'm not saying that this game is giving me too many bullets. I'm saying it's giving me too fucking few. There needs to be a medium range. You can't give the player too much, but you shouldn't give them too little. This one's close to the middle, but leaning more towards giving you too little. Because there's so many enemies and some of them take a lot of damage, so you're not getting the adequate amount of ammo. Now, your AI partner does have unlimited ammo, but they can't be depended upon just to, kill every enemy for you. And that's another thing, is that this is a grindhouse. I feel like I'm playing the Dynasty Warriors equivalent of Resident Evil when it comes to fighting enemies. Fighting enemies. You want to fight the enemies? You have to do it well. Okay, I'll stop with the voices. But I understand it's supposed to be like, okay, this city has gone to hell, the zombies are everywhere, they're trying to kill you. They're trying to kill you, apparently. They're trying to kill you, and they're trying to, just devour your face and everything. Okay, that's cool. I can roll with that. The problem is there's too fucking many, and I have too few bullets, and it's encouraging me to fight them as opposed to running from them. Now, if there were zombies coming at me and I had to use my ammo to, okay, protect myself, protect my partner, move through them, because it's supposed to be a hit and run. You're supposed to maneuver, you're supposed to run, you're supposed to shoot. No, this one, you fight all of them, but they give you like a survival horror-esque amount of ammo. If this was survival horror, and they were giving me the amount of ammo they're currently giving me, I'd been fine with it. Problem is, they're trying to be an action game, and they're giving you too few bullets to actually be able to kill the things coming at you. Now, it does encourage you. I will say this: it does encourage you to be more careful with your bullets because it's not just it's not like a bunch of free handouts. Like, oh, here's handgun bullets, here's 100 of them, here's 100 machine gun bullets, here's 100 shells. It's not doing that. And another thing I think is kind of pointless is the fucking herbs combining to form pills because there's so much going on, and you rarely get a moment of calm where you can actually do that once you pick up an herb. It's not pick up an herb, use it automatically like in Resident Evil 5 or 4. Because 5's interface I thought was great. Okay, as much as I didn't like the lack of horror in that game, the controls to get like your guns out, because you press the up arrow, you got your shotgun out, you press the right arrow, your handgun, left arrow, your magnum, whatever. And then the same thing kind of happened with your items. You could just quickly press the Y button, bam, your inventory pops up, just scroll up, hit X, you heal yourself. This one, you got to combine 2 herbs, combine that into a pill, and once you have that pill, you press the right back button. Well, I'm talking from the Xbox 360 perspective. Press right back, and then you heal yourself. Okay, it should just be like, why do we have to make these into pills? And at first I thought combining a red and a green was the same as combining a green because when you heal yourself, it just restores 1 square. And you have like, I think 7 squares or something like that. And those things go down quick. Like I said, it seems like the enemies in this game just do a retarded amount of damage. And even when you're in like one of those button sequences where like you have to press a button at a certain time or you have to quickly mash or quickly rotate one of the analogs, they're still doing damage to you, but when you fail it, they do like a crap ton of damage, so it's kind of like a double whammy there. And I'm fine with that. You should be penalized for not doing the sequence right, but the problem is that's all they go for. That's all they freaking do. Is there are the diving attacks should be something they do when they've taken a lot of damage, when they are getting the holy shit beat out of them. Instead, they're just doing it like as soon as they see it, they're like, oh, jump, leap, attack. And I think that should also be reserved for like maybe a special kind of enemy. Like there's this like more evolved form of a zombie. I thought it was like the pre-emphasis for like a licker because lickers come from zombies, but it's actually a completely different thing. That thing being able to jump, I can roll with because it looks, it's muscular. It's lost all of its skin. It's lost all that limpness. It's actually agile. I'm like, okay, I can roll with that. I can roll with that thing being able to jump. I mean, it looks like a licker anyways. But the zombies being able to do it is just a little too much. Because they're the first enemies you encounter. They're the most common enemies well, at least for Leon's, they're the most common. I'm assuming in Chris's it's the Jabo, which why do they have to wield guns? Why can't they just shoot like shit out of their arms or something? Like you shoot their arms off. Oh, big tentacle grows out and it can shoot like acid at you. Same effect, or one that just shoots out like little claws or something. I don't know, just something sci-fi-ish and more original as opposed to okay, we're just gonna give them. They're gonna be like superhuman terrorists basically. And, that's me going on like a 20-minute rant about 3 things that's wrong with this game and many scenarios in which they're wrong. Now, I'm kind of done bashing on it, although I might get back to bashing on it because I will say this game can get fucking frustrating. Like, this feels like it's the Dark Souls of fucking shooters. And, but getting back onto that, or onto the positives, is the acting. The voice acting in this is fucking godly. You look back on the first Resident Evil, you compare it to what it is now, they are two totally polar opposites. This one's like fucking Academy Award winning act. Well, okay, maybe I'm overstating it quite a bit there, but it's good. It's good with the tone of the game. Leon's scenario is kind of the serious kind of Debbie Downer-ish, and it's supposed to be. And then you have Jake Muller, or Jake Mullet, as I call him. He's kind of the sarcastic. He doesn't give two shits about anybody. The devil may care kind of guy, and he just makes all these snarky comments. Like even when shit's going down, he has something really kind of witty to say, which I guess goes well with Sherry's kind of more serious, more to the point attitude. Now that's not to say Sherry has no fun in her and she's just dull and all business or matter of factly, but it just goes well because she's like, this is a serious situation and you're treating it like it's a game. She doesn't actually say that, but that's kind of, the vibe that she gets from Jake. I haven't played Chris's scenario, as I said, but I've seen the least amount of Chris. But from what I've been told is he becomes this depressed drunk because he lost a bunch of guys in a mission, and, he feels like it's his fault that all these people are dying. Okay, roll with it. Then he gets talked to by one of his subordinates, and his subordinate, says, wake the fuck up. There's a fight going on. More people are going to die. You can sit here, cry about your problems, drink your problems away, but there are people fighting and dying while you sit here and be, all, So I guess Chris gets his A game back on, and I'm going off of what, who was it? I think... it was that one guy whose name I forgot. I think it was like Alpha Omega Sin. I think he said he had played the demo, and they basically all the soldiers worship Chris like he's some kind of fucking god, like he's, like the Chuck Norris to nerds or something like that. Like, oh my god, it's Chris, fangasm, or whatever. So, yeah, I guess Chris's scenario kind of doesn't pull very well for dramatic effect. And like I said, out of all the reviews I've seen, it's been the one that's been poorly received. Leon's scenario being the most positive one, which, again, Capcom, look at that. Obviously, your fans prefer the survival horror mixed with action. A little bit of action, but not, overdosing it. This one, it's overdosing it. It's going at it like a crack junkie. It's like, it's literally snowing, crack, and the crack addicts are fucking having a party. They're having a party until the fucking day they overdose and die, which is going to be soon, considering it's raining crack. What else can I touch on that's positive? The partner AI. Holy crap, it's not suffering from Sheva Down syndrome. I am ecstatic. The AI knows what the hell it's doing. It does it well. The AI has saved my ass more times than I've had to save it, which is kind of the turnaround. It's like complete flip from what Resident Evil 5 was. If you've seen my Let's Play, it was constantly me trying to save Sheva. Oh crap, Sheva, what have you got yourself into this time? This one, it's, oh crap, Luca, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, dude, get it with the game. Get your head in the game. Come on, you're making it more difficult for me. I'm the one blasting shit, and you're just here to getting your ass kicked. Well, yeah, because the game's difficult. Jeez. But you also get help from other AI people. There's other survivors that actually help you out, but they're all kind of minor. You don't learn their names. You don't learn much about them, and more often than not, they die, which really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. That's not a spoiler. It's pretty much a given that nobody fucking lives besides the main characters in a Resident Evil game. What else? Yeah, the cutscenes are good. The shooting itself, and once you get the hang of how some of the gameplay aspects go, it's actually a really fun experience. It's really addicting, and despite all the ranting and bitching and moaning I just did about 5 minutes ago, I'm actually enjoying the shit out of this game. I do see where the kind of average, the 6 and the 7s from other reviewers are coming from. I understand that, and obviously, since I love the shit out of this game, despite its fallacies, I can see where the people saying it's, a great-ass game. Not the greatest Resident Evil ever made. In terms of ambition, no doubt. In terms of cinematography, no fucking doubt. Given, how Operation Raccoon City and that piece of garbage Resident Evil Retribution has done, this is kind of uplifted, I guess, the Resident Evil franchise as a whole. It's like, okay, it's bottom of the ninth, we got 2 strikes, 1 more, and we're out. Bam! Nope, this one hit I would say it made it to third base, and then another guy made it home. It wasn't a home run or a gland slam? What the hell's a gland slam? A grand slam? God, I'm saying some weird fucking shit today. I must be drunk. I wish. Sadly, it's a Tuesday night. I can't be drunk. That would be against the code of the military. sad story. But anyway, what was I going on about? Yeah, the positives. I've only said like 2 positives, and that's the storytelling and the visuals. Well, and the gameplay. I mean, despite when the camera isn't working against you and when you know what's going on, the game is fun. It's really fun because, you're trying to get headshots. Okay, you miss a few times, but hey, other times you're just like, I'm just going to go for the legs, run up to them, smash their head. Which, I'm very mixed about that, being able to, just, walk up to your enemies and kick them. But at the same time, it's not really making it too easy. In fact, it's still fucking hard, even though you're able to do that. I feel like this game is just too fucking difficult, so I'm hoping that they do like a patch or something that kind of makes the enemies a little, not less intelligent. I think they should be intelligent, but deal less damage. That's all I'm asking, is that they deal less damage, especially when they're fucking jumping at you. They knock you down, okay, fine. They knock you down, and, they're trying to get you, and they're doing bits of damage. That's fine. And, when you fuck up the sequence, they do a lot of damage to you. That's fine. However, I'm beating the sequence every time. I'm getting it right. I'm getting saved, but I'm still fucking dying. And another thing is, I don't get enough healing items. I'm not asking for more healing items. I'm asking it for not to be so over-the-top, frustrating, mind-bending. That's a way to describe it. It's like I get so frustrated that I literally have to walk away. I mean, it's that bad. There was a video I made of Red Alert where I was literally bitching at the game for screwing up, and I pretty much went on a rant for a good 20 minutes until I just had enough and rage quit. This one, I'm rage quitting left and right. Well, I'm not turning off the console or anything, or I'm not slamming the controller down, but what I'm doing is basically I'm basically just, walking away like, okay, deep breaths, think about what you were doing, think about how you can do it better, and, lo and behold, after numerous amounts of times trying, I'm finally progressing bit by bit. But the problem is, I'm constantly redoing the same stupid thing over and over, and the game's not helping me. It's not giving you the prompts that usually it gives you, and even 5 would give you prompts on how to hurt the bosses. They would be subtle with it sometimes, or they would be just completely fucking obvious with it. In the case of the Ouroboros, it's like, oh, if it's yellow, hit it. If it looks like a fucking yellow egg, hit it. That's the weak point. Go for the weak points. This one, no, you gotta figure it out on your own. You gotta waste tons of you gotta waste your ammunition, which they don't give you enough to really have fun, or not have fun, but to really test try it or anything like that. I mean, it really got to the point where I was test trying it. I wasted too much ammo, so I said, okay, just kill me. I'm going to restart. You shouldn't have to do that. You really shouldn't. Unless you yourself screw up, you shouldn't have to do that. If you screw up and you waste your ammo because you were being dumb with it, fair point. You should, okay. Because you screwed up. The game isn't screwing you, you're screwing you. That's a lot of screwing. But I've only run into the aspect of wasting ammo on a boss trying to figure out how to fucking beat it once. And there's only been one enemy that's done that. Other ones, I eventually figured it out. I'm like, wow, that should have been fucking obvious for me, because they mentioned certain things, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, now that I see it, it makes sense now. I can't believe I didn't see that before. I have no fucking concept of illusions or anything like that. I said illusions, not illusions. Although I am hallucinogenic, I just want you all to know that. I am hallucinating things. But touching back on the reviewers, I said, I agree with the meh reviewers. I agree with the praisers. I think Gamespot and Destructoid went down way too fucking hard on this game. For all its fallacies and flaws, they went way too fucking hard on this game. Because as I was playing, I'm like, yeah, I can see it being as high as an 8, as low as a 6 or a 6.5. But I'm not seeing where a fucking 4.5 fits this. 4.5 should be for games that are broken beyond fucking repair, the Stronghold series. Those games have been fucking broken. What other games have been pretty shitty? Disappointment. I mean, looking at DMC Devil May Cry, I have a feeling that game's not going to do too. Actually, I have a feeling it's going to do really good. At first I was thinking, yeah, because everybody, thinks the new Dante looks like garbage. I think that game's going to fucking kick ass. I really do. I don't like the way Dante looks. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely hate the way he looks, but I think this game is going to fucking kick ass. But again, that's just going off what I've seen. But you never know. It could be another tedious chore like Devil May Cry 2. That one was that one deserves a 4.5. Okay, that one deserves a 4.5. Resident Evil Dead Aim deserves a 4.5. Resident Evil Survivor deserves a 4.5. Not Survivor 2, aka Code Veronica. That game was awesome. What other games deserve a 4.5? I don't know, because I really am easy to impress. So when I say a game is shitty, I'm assuming that means that everybody else thinks the game is incredibly bad. Because, I mean, I actually don't mind Resident Evil 5, despite that, fans hate it. They hate the fuck out of it. I personally didn't mind it. I mean, yeah, I do hate that it went away from the survival horror aspect and that the story was just completely dull, boring, and uninteresting as all hell will get, and it tried too hard at certain moments to be all dramatic and shit. Like, it makes you want to care for Sheva. I never cared for Sheva because half the time she's wasting my fucking ammo and getting in the way of my shots. And in a way, I was like, I kind of hope she dies. I mean, okay, give her like a heroic death where she dies saving Chris or some such shit. And then Chris feels bad and is like, oh, I can't let this happen again. I got you back, Jill. I can't lose you. That type of deal. But no, unfortunately, she lives and she becomes irrelevant, just like Carlos and Barry and Rebecca. Poor Rebecca. I actually miss her. Not really. I think she's an annoying fucking teenager. But I guess I really haven't played it fully. Well, no. I'm trying to think of some more positives to say because, I mean, it's like, okay, we're tied now for good versus bad, and I want to weigh in some more goods. It kind of jumped. Whoa. Excuse me. Wow. Dry throat. Talking too much. I should stop talking. No, not really. Actually, I probably should here soon. It's been 30 minutes. I usually don't make reviews this long. Yeah, so I guess I'll get to the closing points. Overall, it's a good game. There are flaws that I think should have been addressed, and from what I understand, Capcom's just been on a downward spiral for like the last 2 years. Starting with the cancellation of Mega Man 3. Now, I mean, I don't even play Mega Man, but their reasoning for canceling that game is fucking... blaming the fans. Really, Capcom? You're going to blame your fans for a game canceling because they didn't have an input. Then explain that over 100,000 group of fans that want Mega Man 3. Explain to me why 100,000 isn't enough. Explain that to me. Otherwise, you're the developers. If you're going to cancel a game on us, then that's going to make your fans hate you. They're not going to like you. They're not going to want to buy products from you. And I pretty much made it a personal vow to myself. I'm like, okay, if seeing these reviews, I'm like, okay, if 6 is this bad, with this much hype, if it at least meets it at like 70% of what the hype is, I'll be happy. I'll forgive Capcom. Lo and behold, I forgive Capcom for being what they are. For handing Devil May Cry over to some random people, Ninja Theory I think they're called, for canceling games and blaming the fans for making other mediocre games, for pretty much making the people that actually put them where they are out of business. Well, not out of business, but making them want to go elsewhere. Hey, you wonder why you're fucking up so much, Capcom? It's because you're treating your decent people like shit because, your top dogs just want to make money. Well, you can't make money if you're not making good products. So fail fucking logic there, assholes. I hate when corporate shit gets so involved. I mean, it's been happening everywhere. Even Dead Space is kind of going, like, I saw Dead Space as like this holy shining light for the survival horror games. It had the perfect amount of action mixed with survival horror to make it a scary fucking game. We get to Dead Space 2, yeah, there's a bit more action, but it's still got that horror vibe. Then we cut to Dead Space 3 and you're like, shit, it's an action game. God damn it. Here we go again. It's Resident Evil all over again. And Silent Hill became irrelevant a long time ago, so that they don't count either. Amnesia, on the other hand, hey, let's get a picture of Amnesia, and then what's that other one? Starts with a P. Anyway, I was going to make a picture of, like, the Gatherers and the, whatever the enemies are in that game. I can't forget that name, obviously. I can't fucking remember it. But I was going to make a picture of those two, and it's like, hey, get in the car. We're going to go save survival horror, because there's other pictures of it. There's, for you wrestling fans, there's one of CM Punk sitting outside of a car that Paul Heyman's in. He's like, hey, get in the car. We're going to save wrestling. Because those two are the only, like, because wrestling has been on a downward spiral for a while now. Although I've been told it's gradually getting better, and I've only recently just got back into it, but I'm not fully back into it yet. Yeah, I was thinking about buying WWE 13, but I think this game, i.e. Resident Evil 6, is going to have me occupied for a while, so I might wait till the price kind of drops a little. And I don't care to pre-order it just so I can play as fucking Mike Tyson. I don't give a shit about Mike Tyson. Why is he even in this game? God damn. Well, why Mike Tyson? Who gives a shit about Mike Tyson? I don't care if he can box really well. I don't care if he can punch my fucking face inward and tear both my ears out with his fucking teeth. I don't give a shit about that. I don't want him in my fucking games. But whatever, whatever WWE has to do to make money, they'll fucking do it. Whatever THQ does, I should say. Oh, Capcom apparently too, because they can just fucking shoot out they can just take a shit, form it into something, and throw it at the audience and say, "Yep, here's a game. Have fun." If this is to be, actually, I don't know if this is going to be the last Resident Evil or not. I doubt it. I'll be honest with you, I doubt it. But if they are to go further with the series with these characters and stuff, they need to do just one more, call it a day, and make like a spin-off series of it. Not necessarily a reboot, but a spin-off series where the older characters are alluded to or something like that, like where Chris is like a legend and, he finally had to retire and his prodigy or some such. We follow his prodigy and no, because then that would be bad, because that wouldn't go to where it should need to go. They need to do something different with Resident Evil. They really do, because I love the characters. You've been, Leon, Chris, all of them. I've grown up with them. I've grown up, enjoying the crap out of them. And, here we are about, nearly 20 years later. And shit's just not going well. I mean, it's gone down and it's gone into this action type deal. And to me, it seems like it's getting to the point where the movies are influencing the games. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't the movies be influenced by the games and not the games influenced by the movies? Because the movies are a byproduct of this game franchise, not the other way around. Yet that's what's happening. I'm confuzzled. Because just playing through it, I'm like, Jake Muller equals Alice. Except he's a male. Figures. But in saying that, Wesker had his superpowers before Alice even existed. And fuck you, Alice. I fucking hate you. I hope you die in the last movie. I hope you die a miserable fucking death, and I hope everybody else with you dies. And those people impersonating the characters from the games, I hope they die too. You killed Barry. You may as well kill the rest of them. Fucker. Hate you, Paul Anderson, or whatever the hell your name. Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson. I fucking hate you. You're terrible at directing. Or, actually, you're not terrible at directing. I shouldn't say that. You're not a terrible producer. You're not a terrible writer. You're just sucking big hunks of shit doing the movie franchise. But anyway, folks, I've gone on for nearly 40 minutes. So, Resident Evil 6, overall, liked it. What's your opinions about it? Leave a comment below. Tell me how you like it, what you thought of it. Tell me what your problems are with it. And please, for the love of God, tell me I'm not the only one that's dying all the fucking time just playing this game through. I mean, I understand. It's my first time through. It's going to be difficult. It's me adjusting to the game. But it should not be this difficult. If I was playing it on professional, okay, I can see why I would be sucking ass. Or the one up from that, the hard mode. I could understand why I would not be doing well. But this is normal. This is supposed to be like the ones that just kind of want to balance between the challenge and the ease of difficulty. I'm struggling in this game. I'm literally just clawing my way through the game. I'm like on the ground, my legs are crippled, and I'm just slowly, just arm for arm, just like, I can make it. I can make it. And then next thing you know, I got somebody just like, oh, no, too slow, drag you all the way back. Like, no! Then you have to go again. It's like hell. It's torment. It's torment is what it is. But Resident Evil 6, I liked it. Or, I didn't like it, but I am liking it so far. You never know. The whole story could just fucking implode on itself, and then after that, I'll just be like, man, fuck it, that was a waste of $60. But I doubt that's going to happen. Capcom hasn't failed me in terms of their story. 5 was just boring. It wasn't bad, it was boring. And that's because they made a Wesker a boring character. Yeah, it's kind of bad when when the first main villain that dies was actually the most interesting one, i.e. Irving. And he was only interesting because he had a personality, whereas Excella was just eye candy, and, you know, she served no purpose other than representing that Tricell, a company, you know, helped get, basically took over Umbrella's crap and tried to make money off of what they did, except they lasted a whopping, one game. And then after that, they became irrelevant. But, you know, they had a hand in forming the BSAA, so, hey, points to them for that, I guess. But in the end, Excella was an irrelevant character who was just there for eye candy and, you know, there to be like to make Wesker look like the macho man. You know, like, oh yeah, I got this chick totally wanting my dick, but I'm not going to give it to her because I love myself too fucking much. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with Wesker being a narcissist. He kind of was in the first game anyway. You know, once he reveals that he's, you know, the one that's been killing all the STARS members and had been manipulating people against each other and all that, you know, junk. And then in Code Veronica, he's a fucking guy playing everybody against each other. Hey, I could roll with that, but not so much. Anyway, folks, I mean, my eyes are closing. As I'm talking, I'm like, so yeah, I'm getting pretty tired here. I just thought I'd, you know, share my thoughts with you guys on how I thought of Resident Evil 6. And one last thing before I cut this video off is that I'm going to start doing video game reviews, and I'm going to do reviews on older games, and we're going to call that the Revisited series. So it'll be separate from my vlogs. It'll be its own little deal. And the way it's going to work is I just talk about older games, you know, the games mostly that I've Let's Played, and I'll be able to give you like an in-depth description of it, you know, besides what you see on there. Because what you see on there is just me going in the moment, by the moment, for the moment. You know, I'm not explaining the in-depthness of it, but I'm explaining it as best as I can as I'm doing it. So you're like, oh, so that's what he's doing. You know, that's the point of a Let's Play. It's basically a walkthrough with a review, with storytelling, with spoilers. It's basically everything rolled into one. You're having trouble with the game, just watch my Let's Play. You'll be good to go. You know, minus when I use save states on the PlayStation games. You know, like Resident Evil 3. If you use save states in Resident Evil 3, nobody should give you shit for that because that game's fucking difficult. So yes, yeah, if I had save state, actually, 6 doesn't need save states because it has checkpoints. But anyway, folks, go check out Resident Evil 6. If you're not really into buying a $60 game that, you know, you may or may not like, you know, hold off on it. There'll be pre-owned games out soon enough, and they'll be like, you know, in the $40 range before you know it. But anyway, Resident Evil 6, for those of you who have played it, those of you who have bought it, did you like it? Did you fucking hate it like Gamespot? Or were you in the middle and you were mixed, you know, in some ways? Like me, I was kind of leaning towards loving the holy crap out of it, and, you know, there were those flaws that kind of lower it to what it could have been, because, you know, the way they were portraying this game could have been something fucking amazing. It could have been 10s and 5 stars and 100s on the aggregate reviews, even though nobody gives a shit about those. But you know what I mean. Anyway, folks, leave your thoughts, comments, and memos and other things below. Me, I'm going to bed. Good night.